Fernandez, and I'm from Miami, Florida.
My name is Kris Adams. I'm from Lexington, Kentucky. Went to the University of Kentucky, born and raised. Lived there almost all my life.
I grew up going to Catholic school my whole life, but my deeper conversion didn't really come until college.
When I was probably in 6th grade, my family underwent this conversion. And so my brother and my mother got very deep into the faith, and my brother's 2 years older than me. And then I came along with them, and eventually, a couple of years later, my dad ended up converting to Catholicism and kind of embracing the faith.
I kind of grew up knowing about the Catholic faith and kind of, exposing myself to it, but I didn't really make it my own until I got to college, and then I really developed my personal faith life and prayer life and just realized the importance about it.
I embraced the faith when I was kind of undergoing that initial family conversion, but it was mostly intellectual. And so when I got to college, I distanced myself kind of from a Catholic community. One day, by happenstance or by grace, I ended up going to our Newman Center, despite being afraid of it, all 3 or 4 years of college before then. And I just saw guys being really authentic to each other. I was waiting for mass to start, and I was just kind of okay, why, let's do it. And then I saw these guys come in, and they were just oh, hey, what's up, man? How's it going? Yeah. And they're sitting down, oh, let's all sit together. And I was who are these? Are guys my age, excited to sit together at church? I was okay, that's I had this kind of two-sided reaction. At first, I was just wow, that's really cool. And then I was also I don't want to be involved, but I knew at that moment, I was that's something that I want.
In college, I struggled a lot because I'm a people pleaser, so I kind of had one group of friends who really liked to party and go out and stuff, and then my church friends who really showed me authentic friendship, being with women who build me up and in a community that fosters growth and personal development. Is really where I found joy and fulfillment.
My brother is actually a priest for the diocese that I grew up with now, and one of the priests at the Newman Center at the time was the vocations director for the diocese. So I'd known him, he'd been around my family, and so I went to see him one day, and I was just Father, can we talk? I just have to tell you everything that's wrong in my life. So we did, and from that moment on, I just kind of walked away from all the relationships that held me down, that kept me away from God, and I learned what it meant to have authentic friendships and to live my faith as a man and be a part of a bigger community.
A lot of my friends, it was just the same thing every weekend. We our morals didn't really match up, so they were just, I was always the good girl, and they just kind of it was a negative connotation. So when I met people who wanted me to be the good girl, I guess, and encouraged me to be the best woman I could be, and didn't judge me for the amount of drinks I had or how short my skirt was and stuff like that, it was really refreshing, and it was kind of a breath of fresh air.
Next tier of friendship is when you're okay, I'm still struggling this, but I'm pursuing it, and I want to bring you with me. Mm-hmm. We're gonna do this together because you're my friend, you're my brother, you're my sister, So yeah, our friendship was really great. We just had a lot of things in common. We were involved in our church community, and so it was just kind of this really, really well-rounded friendship. And because we were both pursuing virtue, we were both trying to live a good, holy Christian life, we pushed each other in that.
Yeah, and even when we were friends, he would say oh, I offered mass for you today because I knew you were having a bad day and stuff like that. And just seeing someone being authentically himself gave me the freedom to be authentically myself, and I didn't fear is he gonna think I'm weird for liking this, or is he gonna think I'm weird for saying this?
I mean, a little bit.
Because he was just so much himself that it was refreshing. The biggest thing for me in my whole life is just seeing people who are themselves and true to that, and I saw that in him, like, right from the start. When you were dancing like
Oh,
a girl at a club on Easter.
Yeah.
Didn't even care.
I have a couple good dance moves.
Going on a date nowadays is very foreign to our culture. A lot of friends I have are just stuck in this zone of like, oh, I like this guy, but he won't define the relationship and we're just hanging out. You know, I'll ask them like, are you going on dates with him? And they're like, no, we're just hanging out. And it blows my mind because I think, you know, like, what's the point of dating? It's to discern who you're going to be marrying. And like, if you're just hanging out, like, what are you doing? So I knew from the start, like, I just didn't want to waste time with that. So like, if a man was truly interested in pursuing me, like, I wanted him to make it clear. He never tried to hang out like one-on-one, like when we were just friends, and like, you know, he really established like we were just a friendship, and that was so refreshing. And then when it was time, like when it did come time that we were gonna date each other, it wasn't, like I said, he didn't say like, oh, can we hang out? It was like, I am interested in like pursuing a relationship with you and I would like to take you on a date.